Grand Rising, everyone. I'm here with another video, and in this one, guys, I want to talk about how the narcissism is running rampant in church pastors. Now, do I have to say that I went to some places in the past? Yeah, I'm not gonna hide it. I went to churches, and not all had that tendency. Real talk, I have to keep it real. But, however, the most pastors you see or you hear have that tendency, because think about it, guys, it's actually logical. If you have someone who's power hungry and who's wants attention, admiration, money, and likes to hustle people, what would be a perfect place to go outside of being a politician? What type of job would be most suited? I think a church pastor. And I remember distinctively that I went to a specific church 8 years ago. It's already 8 years ago, man. And yeah, I was difficult to deal with because I had questions, and the normal, normally the sheep who go there don't ask questions. They kiss the pastor's ass. They're afraid to ask questions. So I went there and I asked them a question. I said, "Is your focus on only the numbers or getting new people here to become a church member, or is it to really speak the truth that Jesus would do?" Guys, that triggered him. And I remember he wasn't, I remember all the time, his wife was more of the social one. Women are a little bit more empathic, so he used to push her in the forefront, let her talk because she had more of a social thing going on. But I remember when he used to come on the stage, all the folks of the singing choir used to like back off with this. I won't say terrified, let me not lie or exaggerate, but a little bit of this shook type of demeanor. Is because his energy is not right. He doesn't really like he doesn't really like people. He doesn't really like to deal with people. And I remember always when he wanted to talk something about church, he had like staff doing it, or his wife, never him himself. It was difficult to get a hold of him. Then one time I finally met him at a men's conference, standing in a corner, arms crossed, chin up, and you can see, guys, you have those people, and to be honest, man, I can't really attack him because I don't like NPCs and organic portals also too much. So you can tell, yeah, there are some folks you can look at their face, you can see that they don't like people. Just like Brock Lesnar, you have more people who are like that. You look at them, you see they don't really like people that much, and you can't blame because these creatures are shit. But that's not the discussion point. But I remember seeing, and I was thinking, well, hold up, you're saying you have a responsibility like Christ did to take care of people, but you don't really like them. I can tell, and you don't want to talk actually to people. You only want to stand on the pulpit, and that I know why, because then you're speaking in general. You're speaking to a whole congregation, and they know that not everyone can. The whole congregation cannot come on stage to greet and meet you. So you get to do your saying. You get narcissistic attention, and then you get to go to the back, and off you go, and your wife and your staff handle it. And then I remember seeing this guy in the third most expensive shopping street in the Netherlands, what happens to be in The Hague. I saw him there, and with a very expensive car. And he just pulled his hand up to me because he remembered me, but he doesn't really like people. But at the other side, look, even though, because don't get it misconstrued, eh? There are pastors who also don't like people, but they like the attention they get. They like the money you put in the collection box. So they tolerate you, but they don't like you. They're using you. There are a lot of these pastors. And I remember this specific pastor, the way he used to look, his face, you can just tell he doesn't want to be bothered by people. And so it's a facade. And guess what? The building he's in is 1.3 million. You see, guys, yeah, that's why I tell you, study every environment and everything you do. Don't just be existing, breathing, guys. Every second you are in this body, you haven't passed away. You're in a state of war/observation, guys. The things are not innocent around you, guys. This is no joke, guys. You're really in a place that you need constant studying. You have to be aware of your surroundings, or you have to observe people or bots. Do they really behave like they say? What is the goal? What is their, what is underlying? What is happening? You know? Don't just exist. Study. Don't just go there giggling and bobbing your head like an idiot. Yeah, 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 yeah. No. If you don't agree, open your mouth. And when I started doing that, the normies, the church bots, yeah, but you're out of line for that because that was not the moment. This was a men's conference, so you could eat. We could eat barbecue meat. You're turning a positive, happy setting into a argumentative, conflict type of situation. I told them, listen, if you guys want to praise a man that has to go to the toilet just like you, is gonna leave the body one day, needs fresh air just like you, goes to the grocery store just like you, that's on you. But don't pin that on me. That's not my reality. You know, I do what my feeling tells me to do. If something's not right with someone or something, I open my mouth. I don't just sit there and giggle for 30, 40 years. You know, and then rot away somewhere in a grave. No, I use my head, I use my mind. You know, I don't just exist. Yeah, but you shouldn't have done that. And then, guys, that was the last day. I took my jacket. Of course, I finished the food because the food was quite good. I ate all the spare ribs and then I left that place and never put foot there again. God is not in most of these churches, guys. If you really look, I'm not knocking. Or if you really want to pray or want to have communion with folks, real life folks, 3 or 4. Didn't God say in the Word that already is where 2 or 3 are gathered? There I am. So why do you need a building to do that, guys? Why? That doesn't make sense to me. If the Word says it, who are you? You see. But most churches, that was the bottom line of this. The main topic of this video. Most, I dare say 90% of churches, there's a narcissist there. I do have to say one thing. I went to a barbecue one time last year, but it was outside, you know. But yeah, the barbecue was done by Christians. But yeah, you know, I ate, I did everything, and actually the pastor there, real talk, was a young guy. You can see it. He was like a cheerful NPC. He wasn't a narcissist. No, I have to keep it real. That guy wasn't a narcissist. He actually had good energy. But I just told him straight up, I'm not going to attend your church. I just came today out of an invitation. I like the setting. You have games outside. You can barbecue. For me, it's just like going to a normal event. Only now you guys are Christian, who are preparing my food. But I don't care. Food is food. But I'm not gonna attend your church if that's what you're looking for to get out of me because you arranged this. It's not gonna work. I'm not gonna come here. I'm gonna be straightforward with you. But he still remained calm. But this one was a good. It was a good NPC. I'm not gonna lie. Good energy. You know, it's just yeah. This doesn't have a soul, and yeah, that's it. But no, guys. Most churches attract narcissistic predators, and I can spot one. Just be very careful, especially with the ones who are disrespecting you constantly. Maybe you're making it from paycheck to paycheck, and they are being hardy about how much yachts they got, how much Rolexes. Guys, you know, these are the prey. They're using you for your money. You will not find a God in these churches nowadays. Forget about it. It's a commercialized setting. Look, guys, look. These churches nowadays are just like worldly people with a Christian taint on them. A little bit of, they have like this Christian icing on them, but they're worldly. They live in sin. And you will not find God in this place. Only thing you will do, you will just socialize. But if you want to socialize, you might as well go to a library and have a cup of coffee with strangers, or go to like do how should I say it, unpaid work. You know, be altruistic. If you really are about but then it's the same thing, because you don't have God in those churches. You might as well just go to a club and talk to people. You know, or go to I don't know, do a job which requires you to go to people's door to door, have talk the whole day if you're a social person. But you ain't gonna find God in these churches, buddy. Forget about it. Narcissistic wolf, money wolves. That being said, be at peace.